downwind it was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist. And it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Plumgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Good morning to all you on the West Coast, crawling out of your dogma snuggies, especially in San Francisco. Ooh, look at my real estate value. Ooh, let's have some sushi this morning for breakfast, right out of the Pacific, before Fukushima happened, before the CDC. And we know what liars they are and how they downplay everything. Even they said the top 12 most contaminated foods on Earth were out of the ocean. That was before Fukushima. Ooh, we love sushi. We love sushi. Oh, you guys are crazy. You radiation people are nutcases. Oh, my sister died at 32 of leukemia. Oh, my son has autism. Oh, my mom died at 46 of leukemia. Oh, my uncle got freaking brain cancer at 52. Oh, you radiation. Yay, it can't happen to us. Because our realist, look, I live in a house that went up 15 times in values. Oh, boy. I'm going to send my child to Cal Berkeley and teach him how to eugenics and be a control freak. Today we're going to talk, the control freaks are out of control, and nobody fights back. We use the false equivalency to see if we can't get on the winning team. That's what everybody's done. We're going to talk about WHIP. We're going to talk about the repository in Idaho. Oh, yeah, right up my backyard. Yeah, we're going to talk about, I was at a grassy mountain. We're going to talk about them hauling nuclear waste all over the United States. Nowhere to put it. Nowhere to freaking. We're going to talk about Livermore giving up on trying to come up with nanotechnology and cold fusion, but yet still sucking billions and billions of dollars. We're going to talk about the Manhattan Project, still gone amok. We're going to talk the Queen and uranium mines. We're going to talk about the controlled power vacuum. We're going to talk about the land grabs in Africa. We're going to talk about the land grabs in your backyard, underneath your house, above your house, around your house, your FEMA camp you're paying a mortgage on. Today's my birthday. I turned 54 today. 2 years ago, I was asked by a doctor in there, because a lot of the people that get AML leukemia, they'll come to you and talk to you, hey, we can buy you a couple years of quality of life, because there's different treatments you can go through. We can buy you a couple years of good life. And I remember a doctor asking, if we could give you a couple years of quality of life, would you take the deal? And I said, fuck no. No. Let's gamble. Let's roll the dice. I want to live to tell. I learned something a lot. Well, I've learned so much through this 3 years, this 4 years, this art of mine, this log of mine, post-ignorance. I started post-ignorance, and I punched the last keystroke on my book in the same library that Edward Abbey did his work in, one of the many that he did his work in. As It's been said about me the same as them. You go from the landscape to the library. That's a beautiful article written by The Guardian a few years ago. And, you know, I'm going to go on a tirade about The Guardian, too. Because they all get afraid. I timed it 30 years to the day of the death of John Lennon. That's when I believe the repression madness got. I believe that's when the music stopped, the art stopped. You know, Reagan freaking looked at his tax rate, went crazy. We went lunatic freaking and gave away this country, and we allowed this country to be looted, lock, stock, barrel. It took them 30, 40 years to loot it. Everything that we built up post-1929, the greatest post-1911, the Shirtwaist Fire, this great progressive movement, the only place in the history of the world on earth, even more than any of the European countries, that we created the strongest middle class in world history. We backdoored it all, and we did it through Operation Foxconn. We did. I love it. The Hairspray Masquerade Party, the repressors. I've come to the conclusion, it took me a long time to get my mind wrapped around how and why they go along with their very killers. They're degenerate. They're third generation. Look up a book on third generation business. They always fail. You know, spoiled baby boomers, yeah. But it's the ideologue, the dogma, is fed through that box, through that television. I was thinking about it this morning. I don't watch TV. I think that helps me a lot. I don't watch television. I really don't. I haven't for a long, long time. And, you know, I don't know. If I want to go to a movie, I go to the theater. If I want to go to a sporting event, I like to go to, you know, I used to like college athletics. I don't even like it anymore because they're captured. Academia is the most captured. The most captured. First off, let's start right off with what's going on in Idaho. We've got both senators up there. And make no mistake about it. There's more Mormons per capita in Wyoming and in Idaho. The Mormon Church drank the Kool-Aid via Ezra Taft Benson in 1980, flipped the culture into the culture of death. The Mormons are the masquerade party culture of death on Balco in the history of mankind. They love death, they love cancer, they love radiation, they love stair cycles, they love Macau, they love it all. Because they are degenerate and they believe, their arrogance believes, they'll call the rest of everybody Gentiles, 7.1 billion, and, you know, and make no mistake about it. The Mormons will say there's 15 million Mormons. They've been stuck at that number for 30, 40 years. That's all there is. They count me. They count so many. The actual participating Mormon who walks into a church and go think is probably much less than 3 million. They're not the economic powerhouse that you think they are. Now, there's individuals like Mitt Inherited Wealth Romney drug cartel in northern Mexico, the Romney family. That's a fact. Look it up. The Romney family are the drug cartel in northern Mexico. They are stair cycle. Look at they're creepier than creepy. They believe, and I think a lot of religions, they believe that, yeah, see, we told you the earth was going to burn. It's only 4,000 years old. We told you it was going to burn. We're getting our own planet on heaven. We're getting our own planet with our 10 virgins. Joseph Smith, the pedophile who started the Mormon Church, said this. Not only is it the right of every man to have 10 virgins, it is the duty of every man to go find the 10 virgins. The Mormon women marching in front of, they have conference. I call it the Taliban's conference. All my friends that are Mormons and Christ, I said, hey, you go down to the Taliban conference. If they had their way, the women would be wearing burqas. So the women march off, we wanted the priesthood just like that's how they let blacks in. Blacks they let in under the United States law to have non-profit, which they have, which you can't preach from the pulpit, which evangelicals do it, they all do it. They just need their non-profit taken away. They're political wings. The Mormon Church is a hardcore political wing. Hardcore. They own the Wyoming legislature. They own the Idaho legislature. They own most of Nevada's legislature. Harry the Mormon. They own Utah, lock, stock, barrel. So they go to Idaho. Idaho has the first nuclear accident was Atomic City up there in Idaho, not far from where I live. Now, I like to put these repositories and they like to put these things where there's no population, not because they're afraid of killing the population, so they know that nobody's watching the store. I was out at Grassy Mountain. Those windy videos I put up, that's Grassy Mountain out there. They're hauling and putting it so illegal, which is right out behind my house on the other side of the lake, the middle, nobody goes out there. Well, Idaho, the corner of Idaho, Nevada, Oregon really could be the most rural place on the face of the earth. Even now, there's nothing out there. Well, back into Idaho, near Sun Valley, Idaho Falls, Atomic City, all through that region, they Moxie fuel there. Out behind my house, they Moxie fuel. Now, people have argued with me for years. I have a number of 252 I use. It's old, there's only 104 reactors, which the swipe of the pen, Allison McFarland, the NRC, the Nuclear Regulatory Committee, by the swipe of the pen, a little over a year ago when I was down at the San Onofre hearing, fighting in critical edition, fighting my ass off to, get San Onofre shut down, and make no mistake, my thesis out of my bone marrow transplant room with that central line hanging out of me had a lot of influence, a lot of power on a lot of people. Ask Joni Ray, ask a lot of people that showed up to that thing with me. I mean, my influence was huge on that hearing. A lot of people's were. A lot of people did a lot of hardcore work, and they weren't about to have a public hearing. Even with Arnie Gundershield being the expert witness who, and I'll get into that a little bit too, as far as the Blue Castle nuclear. Type in Blue Castle nuclear, so you're going to get me with a central line hanging out of your jaw. The best thing I ever did. Stegner would hug me and kiss me. I know he would. Right out of my window. So would Ed Addy. These monsters. But in Idaho, they're trying to expand the Moxie fuel facility there, which is really nothing more than a repository dump. That's what they do. There's no answer. And all you people say there's nanotechnology, there's this, that, the other. No, there's not. There's not. Einstein says there never will be. Give it up. So they're trying to expand it. Well, I'm in the hospital dying. A lot of people from Idaho are in there. That's where they end up right here at LDS, which is not owned by the Mormon Church, which is an incredible hospital. If you get leukemia, you get cancer. I mean, they have a team of doctors from all over the world, some of the best on earth. They're amazing. They saved my life. Well, a lot of people from Idaho landed in there. Well, there's a guy in there. He's a political powerhouse at the state level in Idaho. State senator. Ranking state senator. Which there's no two-party politics in Wyoming, Idaho, or Utah. None. It's 100% lock, stock, barrel, the so-called Republican Party. Which, I don't even know what you would call it now here. It's not even the Republican Party. I mean, Eisenhower's daughter. Listen to what she says about it. I don't know what it is. It's sick. It's degenerate. But he's telling me, they're promising they're going to bring in these jobs. They're debating on the Senate floor why his wife is dying of leukemia. She's in our hospital dying of leukemia. They lived right by it. I said, we know the data from near Atomic City, from near, San Clemente. We know the data from San Clemente. We know that if you work in a regular, a site or around the site, you're probably going to get leukemia. It's so much higher. They have low-level accidents all the time. They dump this facility. There's nobody watching the store because we have no political will. As a populace, we don't hold anybody accountable as a populace. This is so out of vogue, people don't even want to talk about it. I can prove it. So he's like, they're going to bring $60,000, $70,000 jobs. I says, they always say that. They're lying. They'll bring $30,000 jobs, if that. They're lying to you. And I says, you're really willing, your wife's dying here, you're willing to vote for this. You're going to get a job where, you might get 30 years of a decent job. Well, not even a decent job. A half-assed job, but it's going to kill you. You're willing to, I'm not fucking willing to accept that. Are you crazy? Life over money? Hell yes, I'll take life over money any day. That's where Americans fool. Money over life, working 60, why would anyone work 65 hours? I could see it in a short time when you're a young person if you have a business and you're, being passionate about your business and you got a chance to make millions. When I was young and I had my class in business, I went hard. And same with my drug, but I made a lot of money, These people do this and they don't make any money. They're going further and further in debt. I got a bigger, shitty house. Why? I don't understand it. So they pass it. Of course, Linda, who lives out there in the middle of Timbuktu, who's a great activist right here based in her and I fought our asses off the corruption that went there during the Olympics. She calls me. She says, Kevin, you seen this? I said, no. What is it? She says, Senator, what's her name, Klowski from Alaska, who's on the committee. Okay, Brazo from Wyoming. And, of course, Crapo and the other moron from... Now, remember this. Remember the Idaho senator who, I'm not gay, yet I've had sex in a bathroom in Minnesota with another guy. There you go. You know how many gay Mormons I know? Oh, yeah, a lot of. One of our legislators got caught with a prostitute. This is the cover-up. He got caught with a prostitute. You know, these are churchgoers in hairspray. These are moral majorities. This is David Vetter in his diaper on Balco. Well, it comes out about a year and a half later. The prostitute was a guy. You know, there's so many. It's overcompensation for their homosexuality. A lot of it. Oh, absolutely. You know, and think about the woman. I mean, what's his name? The senator up there. I mean, that's so disturbing. And she stays with him. I mean, think about the women who participate with this thing, and then they wonder why they're repressed, why they're popping five. They're all on Prozac here. We're the pill popping capital of the world. Well, I wonder why. The masquerade party. It's a show. It's a facade. It's a lie. So they go for it in Idaho. So she says, hey, they're, you know, because we have the geothermal national program out there in the middle of nowhere. She says, they're shoving stuff all over out there. There's trucks all over, you know. They're supposed to be heavily marked. As I caught that video right here going through residential in Utah. Illegal. Somebody screenshot it. We found out where it comes from. It came from South Carolina. One of the changeouts. Open truck. Going across the United States. Hotter than hot. I sent it to all the media here. They don't care. I mean, they drank the Kool-Aid. It's beyond drinking the Kool-Aid. It really is Jim Jones. It really is Jim Jones across the whole America. I'm blown away at it. So in Idaho, she says, the senator from Alaska says, in a statement, well, there's no answer for this waste. We need to rethink this waste. Do you think 40 years, you know, we're making these statements? But then she makes the statement, now, was it Freudian slip, or is she just ignorant? She's whip is closed. I'm like, salt truck? Well, these are salt mines out by there, too, and it's the same species. Who knows what these monsters are up to? Now, let's talk about Carlsbad. You know, we have Trinity in there, still, from all that. Just like at Hanford, we have Manhattan Water. Manhattan Project never stopped, just like colonialism never stopped. The line government going in Africa right now, colonialism never stopped. The House of Windsor, you could trace this all back, and if you think I'm full of shit, just type in too big to jail, who funded the 9/11 terrorists. We know now. It's been public known. We knew then. Now, we could talk about the lead-up and the cover-up there. You know, there's a great artist, by the way, who committed so-called committed in Williamsburg, just like Aaron Swartz. His name's Michael Lombardi. You know, look up him. He's dead. They're all dead. You can't tell the truth in this country and live. You got no shot if you tell the, you know, the dean used to say all the time, Kevin, the nuclear industry hates you so bad, I think they mailed you leukemia in the mail. They didn't have to mail leukemia in the mail. They gave it to me before I was born. Via my father at Cal Berkeley made that decision to murder him. And they mailed it to all of us in the mail through, well, the jet stream. The jet stream doesn't give a damn about borders. So she says they're closed. Now, I've never read anything they're closed. I reported what was going on down there the first day it happened, you know, on February 6th. Well, I'm always early. I'm always on it early. But people don't care because, again, they don't want to listen to a guy like me. I mean, the truth. I mean, it breaks down all their dogma. Their glass house comes tumbling down. For a person to tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Well, Fukushima. John Kaufman, who I said in his classroom, 1090. I mean, at least they threw a little false equivalency. He wasn't false. He was great. Look what they did to him. You know, they threw a little false equivalency at Berkeley. Not now. They're lock, stock, barrel, eugenics, you. They are the most evil place on the face of the earth. Livermore? Yeah. Now, I'll tell you, let's talk about RT, Russia Today. And, you know, my painting is I've been painting in the genre of the Russian triangle, the Russian vagina, you know, Japan, Russia, United States, Japan for decades. God, it's even on Balco even more now. Was Murkowski, I mean, her, Russell, are they that ignorant, or is whip closed? Now, if plutonium is leaking out, we know the only way to do it is seal it. Maybe they did seal it. But it's in your backyard. They've stashed it everywhere. There's no answer. These people who say there's an answer, now remember this. When I went to Livermore on the 1,000th day, and I did that Tim Shell in honor of John Steinbeck, he would have a heyday with this, Almaist. That means men are responsible for their actions. That's out of the Old Testament. You know, it's like I tell people, oh, it's in God's hands when we're in the hospital. It's just in God's hands. Really? Really? You know, as I fought intensely, and I watch people that don't fight. I mean, I would have never believed this before. I mean, I saw it on your birthday thing. Your birthday is a day to look at the sun, the sky, the moon, whatever the gods there may be, whatever, but you're on Earth. The trees, the flowers, the plants, whatever. And it's a day to look back and say, what a gift I've gotten to land on this incredible, beautiful, magnificent globe. And I'll tell you what, this time of year in Utah, the 100th day of the year, it's so spectacular in this place. The trees all bloom and the white on still the mountains, the blue sun. It's spectacular here. It's so beautiful. And that can be said a lot of places around the country. So if they filled up WIP, and she says we need to reopen Yucca Mountain, no, Yucca Mountain's never been open. Is it ignorant? Or are they probably, they're on the committee. These are people on the committee, so we know they get briefed by the so-called intelligent community, which is so unintelligent. What is going on? Just the fact of the nuclear waste alone. This has gone on for a long time, a lot of it. We're going to get rid of nuclear weapons, which we don't, so Megan Rice breaks into Way 12. New York City, Pussy Riot, stands with Hillary Clinton, takes photo ops, Hillary Westinghouse. They're all in nuclear. Look up the subsidy. Just type in the subsidy. Type in the Price-Anderson Act. Type it all in. Check it out, the subsidy on nuclear. The federal subsidy is so gigantic. The Manhattan Project never stopped. It is gigantic. This is a major, major cash cow. They'll tell you in Carlsbad. The whole city grew up around that. Hey, this is $5 billion your economy. Well, I'm an economist. We know the multiple effect is 5. It's undebatable. It's at least 5. That's 25. I think it's 6. And I've proved this, over and over. It's at least 6. That's $30 billion to an economy. In a place where we have no tariffs, so there is no job market, so it plays on you. So you're willing to feed into this dogma, this obey, consume, consume goods from Chinese slaves. There's the problem. It all ties in to nuclearism. It all ties into usury. And I'll tell you how I can prove that. It's all the same thesis. The African-American community, Cornel West doesn't get it. Michael Moore doesn't get it. Naomi Klein doesn't get it. Chris Hedges doesn't get it. All these so-called counters to the social engineers. Now, I really am a counter to the social engineers. Try me. I would love one of these people. Let's have a debate. You want to talk economics? Try me. You want to talk environment? Try me. You want to talk nuclearism? Try me. You want to talk geopolitics? Try me. I truly am. That's why I don't have any money. And the true counterculturists to the control freaks, and these control freaks are out of control. Control freaks have always existed. Are they Illuminati? That word's been so captured. That word is so grotesquely abstract from the reality of the concrete of the truth of Illuminati. So you don't even know what you're talking about with Illuminati. The Masons, the skull and crossbones. Oh yeah, skull and crossbones is very real. The universities via academia, the House of Windsor, the anti-tariffs, anybody who's pro-tariff, anybody who's pro-usury laws, anybody who's pro-antitrust laws. Now think about it. Type in antitrust law. We don't enforce them for the first time in a long time. These lead up to wars. The control, if you don't think control can suck up to one family, you know nothing about the lead up to World War I. Nothing. One family controlled the world. Is it one family controlling the world now? Yeah, and it's via nuclearism. Megan Rice understands that. Oh, Hillary gets it. Hillary's connected to the arranged marriage between her and Bill Walmart Clinton. That's an arranged marriage. Come on. She has about as much interest in sex as freaking, I don't know what. Think about all the sex. Jennifer Flowers, Monica. You think she doesn't care? She knows it's an arranged marriage. She's connected. Hillary Rodham, the greatest neoconservative House of Windsor. She's right out of the House of Windsor bloodlines. Trace her right back. Bill Hillbilly, Arkansas Clinton, this young idealistic. He was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford. Type in Rhodesia. Oh, land grabs in Africa. Oh, it's still going on. You betcha. So, apartheid, Nelson Mandela, which, by the way, I stood right by Nelson Mandela at the 2002 Olympics. Lech Walesa, all of them. They were right there. Even W himself. Guns pointed all over. The military-industrialized complex gone amok. It's not a cliche. It's very real, and it's nuclearism. Have they shut WIP? Have they sealed off those caverns finally? I don't know what's going on down there, but when we find a RadNet, now, what's RadNet? The radiation tech net, where we spend billions of dollars, just like security at Y12, where the plutonium store, we spend billions. It's pay the dragon flare. It's all thievery. It's free money. They just steal it from us. They don't do what they say. It's government contracts. It's like Washington, D.C. You go to Washington, D.C., I led the Million Mass Man March, which was gigantic, by the way. It was gigantic worldwide. It's the big, that day was the biggest day on a social up movement besides what gone in Africa, in Egypt, East Africa, the so-called spring. That was giant also. It was very real. What's going on in Japan? The protests in Japan are gigantic. When I led the Million Mass Man March, it was gigantic worldwide. No media cover whatsoever. None. RT did cover that. I wonder about RT, the Russian. We're relying on Russia Today to give us the word from TEPCO, from Japan. We don't get anything out of there anymore. We know the mob's running the show factually. We know that thousands of them are dead factually. We know that they've been underground trying and it's failed factually. That's why I went to Livermore. He resigned. We know inside the Situation Room it was intense fight inside there, an intense fight in there between the so-called eugenics Cal Berkeley, John Holden, the science and technology head of the team. This has been reported. I'm the one who broke the story via the Post. And I was talking about it long before he ever came out with that propaganda piece of, I don't know, truth or not truth. How do we know what any of it's true? The Pacific genocide, relying on logic. They're dumping in. Why would they wait 3 years to cleanse the water, the groundwater? Why would they possibly wait? The technology exists 3 years, well over 1,000 days. Is it eugenics? And think about it if it is eugenics. Think about it. Really, you want to kill a bunch of 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds? Some 34-year-olds? That's not who's having babies. Wow. The babies are being born in Mexico. The Mormons and their 15, 16-year-olds. I don't know what they're up to. None of us do in factual detail, but as it plays out more and more and more, the control freaks are completely out of control. And we do not check and balance them. Now, you think about it, we have this beautiful system in the United States, the three branches of government, which people don't even know. We rely on that court as the third branch, but we don't have it anymore. The theft of the election in 2000 was so, not because, I don't care, Gore's a scumbag, weasel, molesting, raping, phony piece of dog shit. Aaron Burr's bloodlines. The Bush crime family, come on, let's get real. Alito and Roberts on the Supreme Court. The court is not a court. It's not a court. Dyer's words, it is a branch. It is another it is another political, non-voted in wing. Now, what is a political non-vote? It's a dictatorship. So whatever you want to call it, the military coup, whatever, they're not elected, and the Supreme Court is nothing more than politicians who are making law dramatically. They're not a court. They don't rule anything on law. The Constitution proves that on the theft itself not giving state rights. It's a political wing, so it's broken. But we don't hold accountability. Why? Because of the media. Oh, yeah. Do you see the national media talking about her saying that she's on the committee? She's up in Idaho saying, well, we need to reopen Yucca Mountain. Yucca Mountain never got open. So I used to argue with Alice McFarland. So the fight that went on inside the Situation Room, let's talk about this. You think I'm whatever, my videos, my art, my creativity, you can take it with all you want. You can say, oh, this guy, blah, blah. I really don't give a shit because it's very real, it's very powerful, it's very historical, and it's my little post-ignorance movement, whatever. I'll do it on my own with my small little group. I don't care because it is important, and I know how important it is. Inside the Situation, Gregory Jackso, who Now think about him and the ex-prime minister of Japan, who's both have turned anti-nuclear. We're out protesting. Boy, they've been told to shut up. They don't say a word anymore. Barbara Boxer, who went after Alice McFarland, who I know, the NRC, she's been told to shut up. Everybody. Well, Pussy Riot, posing with any countercultures. Aaron Swartz, killed. Michael Hastings, dead. Pat Tillman, keeping his journal, getting ready to make his movie, executed. That's what they do. Out of control. Is it Obama? No, he's scared too. Look at him. Look at him. He doesn't even have charisma. His speeches aren't even charismatic anymore. He gives a speech in Europe when he first became president, millions roaring. He gives it now. There's, 58 people there, just with their heads down. He's got children. You can see he's been threatened. He's afraid. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. He's going to go to Japan the 22nd. Come on, Caroline, we need you, girl. They killed all the Kennedys, Wow, she's the last one standing. I mean, it's pretty amazing. She, on the 50th anniversary in Fukushima, Japan. People are ignorant about the equation of the waste. They're ignorant about the landscape being taken out. Inside the Situation Room, they're all there. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, they're all there. There's a giant fight going in there. How are we going to handle this? Oh, the genie's out of the bottle. Huge fight inside there. Jacko comes out. You can see he's a gas. He's an intelligent guy. He has children. I mean, you can look at those photo ops of him. He's told to lie. Gina McCarthy, she goes for it. She's had a RadNet, crash RadNet immediately. Pull your dog and pony show. Say that the contractor just screwed him, just like guarding Y-12. You don't think Megan Rice knew all this? Megan Rice went in after Fukushima. You don't think she knew this? Oh, she knew it. She's a genius. He comes out. He goes on the Hill. There were congressional hearings, public, just like there were Pat Tillman's, Pat Tillman's ranger, his brother says, accident? Oh, hell no, it was a murder. Ordered execution from the top. Michael Hastings was exposing it. Dead. Wow. He goes on the Hill. He resigned. I mean, he wouldn't talk. So they point Allison McFarland, and we go full in MIT and Berkeley, which I don't know which one's worse. I mean, they're death factories from hell. They're the SS. Cal Berkeley is the SS. Cal Berkeley really is loading you on the train car. And you all play along in the Bay Area and all up and down the coast of California because your real estate values. I was in. It's like, they're going to sue TEPCO now. USS Reagan. One of those kids is in the hospital with me. Full of leukemia. Remember, a year ago, I was in San Diego last summer when the hearings were happening. This isn't nothing new. It was ruled jurisdiction on a technical. I have the transcript from the trial in San Diego, $75 a page. An activist got it and sent it to me. I have it. These trials and hearings have been going on for 2 years. The media wants to just pick up on it now. 60 Minutes plays their freaking dog and pony show with the spent fuel photographs of number 4, which are not number 4. The Navy diver who I know personally, the divers who go in and weld these pools has been all over in the pools in Japan before Fukushima. He says the mob makes them take cases of Crown Royal whiskey. Make them take cases. The mob really does run the show. It is Chernobyl on Balco. So they appoint Allison McFarland, the new head of the NRC. She wrote a book about an ancient aquifer underneath Yucca Mountain, which she's probably right. She said for years, shoot into space. I've argued, put it at Yucca Mountain, put it at Yucca Mountain. Oh, we can't hile waste across the country. That's all we've heard for 30 years. It's too dangerous. They do it all day, every day. And they're so blatant now. They don't even hide it now. Just like I caught that video right there. Right in your face, because the American populace doesn't care. The problem is the American populace. They drank the Kool-Aid. If they're going to get on the winning team, you're going to go to American Idol. We're going to make you a superstar. Oh, you're a college athlete. 1 in a million. We're going to make you an NBA. I know Damian Lillard, person. He's rookie of the year in the NBA from our school here. He's a 1 in a million. They throw that. College athletes are slaves. Make no mistake about it. College athletes are slaves. Academia, college degree right now, come out of, I talked to a girl in New York, graduated at NYU, $250,000 student debt. She's serving coffee like the rest of them. This is what it's worth with. These colleges are totally 100% captured by corporations, 100%, lock, stock, barrel, peer review on PhDs. It's obscene. Sports merchandising is gigantic. These kids, hey, we're going to get you into the NFL, and if you do make the NFL, think about what young people think, especially in the African American community. Come on, Cornell. Martin Luther King was absolutely 100% anti-nuclear. There are these kids running down with these hair extensions from executed Chinese prisoners in China. These are the ancestors of slaves. The same story was going there that it is now. We drank the Kool-Aid through the so-called Carl Rove knew. He's from here. He debated right here. We sent his ass packing to Texas. You know, Carl with the small C is his mother intended, who's from Colorado, by the way. And I like all these quintessential things that think they're Mormons, and none of them are from here. Carl's not from here. He's from Colorado. Freak. But he understood that if you want to indoctrinate and fool the populace, you do it through the so-called Christian community, through the evangelicals, through the Mormons, the churchgoers. You make them believe in the opposite of any real values. Thou shalt not kill. Love them for that. Know what they do. The control freaks out of control. And you read the press secretary's book, Scott McClellan's book. He says they sit around the Situation Room. Bush, Cheney's attorney, and make fun. Look at these morons. They'll go to freaking walk off the cliff horse, just like Jamestown. Drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, they drank the Kool-Aid with nuclearism. But the counterculturists that we have, that we look up to, Pussy Riot, they're done. That photo op, Mike Lee tried to get a photograph of me. I ran. The day I get a photo with one of those creeps, I'm done. It ain't going to happen because I'm the real deal. I don't give a fuck how broke I am. Because I'm alive. I'm alive, and I understand the gift of humanity. I understand the beauty. Those people don't understand in D.C. You go to D.C. You know, the military-industrial complex is blown up in D.C. The median income has doubled there, kept up with inflation on the dollar. The only place there in New York City, the shopping mall for Europeans, the cultural theme park. Everybody jogs and runs. They're all type A personalities there. Go there. I was there for days and days. I never seen one single attractive person the whole time I was there. Not one. It's overcompensation because they're ugly outside and inside. That's what control is about. That's what it's all about. What do you think all the hairspray is about? That's what it's about. Yet we go along with it. We're willing to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'll look at 6 and come home in our FEMA camp that we're paying a mortgage on. You're already in a FEMA camp. Oh, and you're going to buy a gun. I love that. You know, when I was a kid, this is the home of John Browning. I knew Matt Browning personally. I have the DNA of that family all over my body, literally. These beautiful, handcrafted, freaking made shotguns and rifles. I remember when the AK-47 come out, Matt Browning freaked out. That guy just passed away. Even the guy who invented it said this is the greatest weapon of mass destruction. It's second behind nuclearism. It's all control, and it's the American populace that plays ball and goes along with this. All of this. These people can make statements. They can go on television. We can talk about nuclear. Fukushima's been told, but now it's not being told. Because they're like, what's the point? Who's to blame? The black and yellow whole media? Yeah. Oh, hell yes. They're sickening. They're evil. They're grotesque. Black and yellow whores. We're relying on RT and Japanese Times, again, the nuclear triangle, Russia, United States. Now think about this. Snowden doing photo ops with Putin. Pussy Riot doing photo ops with Hillary. It's a dog and pony show. Are they CIA? Are they been threatened? Probably both. You know, he waves that in front of a carrot like in front of the Guardian. Okay, the Guardian, they say they have it. They detain him. I guess they detain his boyfriend or whatever at Heathrow. If you have a nuclear option, why would you dangle that in front of us? Hey, look, we have it, but we're not going to show it to you because I think it is nuclear. My guess is, and it's just a guess, that the nuclear option is nuclear. That this really is some kind of a control freak mechanism that's out of control. Fukushima, Japan, thousands killed. It's not in, they don't have another. You know, Christina says the best. The only thing to control about Fukushima, Japan is us. Goffman would be happy. Goffman would be sad. He was right. 1090. They will 1090 you so slowly, by the time it gets to you, you'll accept death. Orwell would believe this. Drive through your local subdivision. I want you to drive through the local subdivision in the last 10, 50 years. If you don't believe this obey sheep populist has worked, it's this fake brown stucco that are all the exact same color, fake brown rock. I used to say all the time, you can't drink and drive in Utah, not because it's against the law and it's dangerous, because you're going to get drunk and you're going to go home. These subdivisions all the same. You're going to go home, you're going to knock on the wrong door, try to get in the wrong house, and all these paranoid cowards, these cowards should dial on 911. These cowards are going to shoot you through the window with their gun. I used to make fun of them and laugh at that. It's happened twice here. It's happened twice here in the last 18 months. It's happened 3 times in the last 3-4 years. These guys get drunk, they can't recognize their house. They're all the exact same freaking car in the driveway, same freaking fake brown stucco. I mean, it's beyond Orwellian. It's beyond Orwellian. They have smashed creativity. They have smashed any kind of radical or rebel protesting in an intellectual way. They have completely captured academia. 97% of teachers in Utah are females. Why? Because the male is still considered the breadwinner. You can't make a living as a teacher here. You can't do it. There's some good teachers out there, but very, very few. It's my daughter, my youngest. I got to tell you this story. She's a gifted, brilliant young mind, kind of haywire like I was when I was young. A lot like me. 7th grade, I go up to school, she's failing science. And I'm like, well, they had the testing, the 7th grade testing on the national testing they do every year. I got a letter in the mail. She got the highest score on 3 disciplines in the state, the highest. The highest in the country in science. By the way, she serves coffee for a living, even with that brain, because there's no opportunity for people like that. They're repressed and smashed down. So I go into the science teacher. This is in January. School's been going on for 6 months. I'm like, yeah, I understand she's troubled. She's got issues. I get it. Does she know the material? No. I said, well, can I see her test scores? Well, I don't test. I said, what do you mean you don't test? You're a teacher. You don't test. I'm a professor. What are you talking about? I don't test. What? How do you know if they know the material? Oh, I just know. So you're telling me she doesn't know the material? Nope. So I laid down the national test scores. She's seen her eyeballs. I had no idea. I said, of course you have no idea. You don't test. See, it used to be in academia, when I went to college in the old days, at Berkeley, at Weber State, at the University of Utah, Stegner, you think Stegner gave a fuck if you showed up to class? He didn't care. He didn't care. 2 tests, midterm and final. That's it. That's it. That's what it was. Pass them. There's your grade. Pass, fail. There's your grade. Period. Period. We know 2.7 GPAs are the most successful, not 4.0s. We know that, actually. They want to turn you into... So now it's become repression factories. In Utah, if you don't show up, you miss X days, they fine you and you pay. I mean, it's obscene. If you know the material, when I went to college, shit, I never went to school. I never went to class. I mean, it was called the lecture. You didn't require to listen to the lectures. You weren't even required to read the fucking book. And buy some professor's book, shitty-ass piece of filth that he wrote. That's ridiculous. Now we captured into these so-called Christian schools. I love it, the autism school. The first charter autism schools built what should be a super site right next to Stair Cycle's medical incinerator, the only one in North America that's allowed to burn, because 49 states will not let them in. Oh, yeah, the Romney family owns it. They're a big player in Stair Cycle, the Romney family. Absolutely they are. Look it up. The culture of death. That's where it's built. So you have an autistic child and take them right where the place where that cause of autism. I proved that autism is nuclear fallout. It's undebatable. It's as obvious as the nose on your face. The autism capital of the world, Utah, the Wasatch of Utah. The cancer capital of the world, the Wasatch of Utah. The multiple sclerosis, the Down syndrome capital of the world, right here. 350 open air tests. Abby knew it. Steckner knew it. All of them knew it. I know it. I was born so autistic. I had so many issues. When we were born preemies, the doctor used to say my twin sister came out so late. He's like, I don't know if there was a double pregnancy here. So, they didn't know there was another child in there. My mother, a little 105-pound pinup artist at Woodbury, who Everlene said himself. Not only could she bend the She was a brilliant artist, drew like a camera pinup. She could have been her own model. We came out, talked about mutations. Oh my God. The problems we had, the issues we had, incredible. Really incredible. What I went through, so many go through. My father nuked to death in the Nevada test site. Cal Berkeley made that decision. Not Oppenheimer. I love it, this bitch down at freaking Berkeley who has the J. Robert Oppenheimer Foundation at Cal Berkeley. Oppenheimer hated Berkeley's fucking guts with a passion. What they did to him was so grotesque. Oh, he's a commie. Eugene McCarthy. It was Taylor, the military complex. They made the decision to take the 40,000 Marines from Pendleton, put them in the trenches, and nuke them to death. And they know, in their own right, they cut their tonsils out. They still have their tonsils. They knew that they would all die of leukemia, and they knew there was a high statistical probability that their children would die with it, that they did it anyway. Not Oppenheimer, Taylor. That bushy-eyed Hungarian fucking creep. I hate that fucking guy. That fucking mass murder. Well, it's going on there at Berkeley again. John Holder in Berkeley. Look up who the president of Berkeley is. Look up who the new dean of Berkeley is. Look who, the pepper sprayer got more money than the pepper sprayed. The young baby wolves going, oh, I'm an elitist. I'm going to think. I mean, when academia should be free for the very said reasons. Oh, I'm an elitist. I'm an elitist. You're not an elitist. Oh, my child went to Berkeley. Look at my real estate values. In California, they're up 15%. San Francisco, look at me, the overcrowded freaking mass, freaking false bravado that it is. I make $18 an hour. I live in my car. I ride the Google bus to the Google plant. You know, you'd think those two, growing up in Russia, would be on our side, not against us. Chernobyl, 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 Chernobyl. What part of Chernobyl do you fuckers not understand, the American populace? What part of Fukushima do people not understand? The evacuations forever. We're just going to keep taking this real estate out of the equation. We're going to get one here. We have the plants with one swipe of the pen, Alison McFarland, the new head of the Nuclear Regulatory Committee, one swipe of the pen. I thought I had to go through Congress. Congress got anything done? Makes all 104 reactors national repositories. We're going to do this thing called dry gas. Well, we know dry gas does not work. It's just another joke. Oh, well, there's new Moxie fuel plant in Idaho. That's what they do. They Moxie and turn it into nuclear weapons. Why would we keep making nuclear weapons? We have enough to blow the earth up 1 billion times over. Oh, the cash cow. It's the easiest way to extract wealth from other nations in the history. Oh, it's the colonialism gone amok, which never stopped. We don't ride white horses in there with freaking swords anymore. We just point a nuclear weapon at a third world country and say, we will freaking nuke you, hand it over. We do it right to you, in your state, in your place. The frackers, you think the frackers are you and I? Oh, no, the frackers. BP sealed off public beaches in the Gulf still. Sealed off public beaches with military-style private police forces. Public beaches. And they pulled it off. How is it possible? The whole country's captured. The House of Windsor burnt down the White House in 1812. You don't remember. Who killed McKinley? Oh, McKinley, I am the great terror president. Bill Walmart Clinton, Rhodes Scholar. Carl Rhodes, the pedophile that he is, the pedophile creep. Oh, Rhodesia, that's that guy. De Beers. Oh, diamonds are not freaking a precious gem. Diamonds are one of the most common things on earth. The greatest monopoly in history? Oh, yeah. Next to plutonium. Plutonium. That is the new gold. That is the new diamond. Plutonium. These are plutonium wars. And they're all on the same team. These are control mechanisms. And the social engineers, they threaten them. Oh, yeah. Is that what's happened to Pussy Riot? I guess yes. I mean, you want to go to the gulag? Yeah. Hillary, Westinghouse, Clinton. They're all on the same team. But we don't fight back the political process. People get all hyper about at the top when they don't even know who their own Congress. That's where it starts. It stabs at the grassroots in your local community. Usury laws, if California passed a usury law, the whole country would go. If we started pulling the plug on in a local way, like Vermont's done on Yankee, you think about it. Yankee, the plug gets pulled by the Vermont legislature, by the people. Their people pull the plug. So the feds sue. The feds win. Under the Patriot Act, they win. You can't shut it down at the state level. This is under the Patriot Act. This is the military industrialized Queen's freaking army. They still shut it down. At the local levels where we can do this, now it's not going to happen in Utah because they're all in. They believe the earth is 4,000 years old. The evangelicals, well, I don't know what's happened to them. Jesus died so I could be rich. Joe and his megatrophy, I mean, really? Really? As we pick and choose our Jesuses, how many Jesus are you going to divide? We take Jesus, we split him up in little teeny pieces all over. This is my Jesus. This is your Jesus. As I walked out of, Megan Rice sitting with those powerful Christians in that courtroom, walked out, there's some young preachers right there on the day she's being sentenced, which Pete Seeger died that day, back to Martin Luther King, not Memphis this time, Knoxville. Why? Oh, Y-12 there, the Manhattan Project. It never stopped. The money that is thrown through the taxpayer at nuclear is so gigantic and so close. And you're worried about the people on food stamps. Really? You're worried about the Social Security. Really? You know what we throw at the military industrial complex via nuclear? You know how many billions, and that's on balance sheet, just like the banks off balance sheet accounting? Are you kidding me? Off balance sheet accounting. Wow, that's what the Fed does. That's what the Fed does. Greenspan, the greatest terrorist in human history. They dereg public utilities. We dereg them so they can do whatever they want. Written into law, we have to buy the nuclear energy when we don't even use it. You see rolling blackouts in the western United States, the hottest summer in the history of the country. San Onofre's been shut down for 3 years. Oh, they make up 12% of the grid. They're lying. We don't use this nuclear energy. We don't use it. It's outdated. It's old. It's some kind of a replacement to dirty coal. Or if I hear one more asshole professor say, "Oh, dirty coal is an ocean war," it's pathetic, stupid fuckers. It's pathetic. Clean nuclear? Clean? It's 10,000 times dirtier than coal ever was. The coal's disgusting. So, we have a national grid. Enron, hello. By the way, Kenneth Lay, you think he's alive? My guess he probably is. Solar farms gone in the western United States where I live. It is sunny all day, every day. Rarely not sunny. Yep, this region is out here. We have solar farms all over. They know how to store the energy. We have the technology. Like Germany did it. Switzerland's going to do it. Japan. So Obama's going to go over there the 22nd. Our only hope is Caroline. She's the ambassador. Her father was so hardcore anti-nuclear. Hardcore. Martin Luther King, Rachel Carson, all these people. And they were human rights activists. The greatest violation to human rights in the history of mankind is Fukushima. It is the greatest violation. You can talk economics, which the user economy, the disparity of wealth is the greatest in the history of mankind right now. Ever. You think about Martin Luther King's incredible speech. I wouldn't stop there. I'd go back to Egypt. Wouldn't stop there. Go to Mount Olympus. Wouldn't stop there. Go to Abraham Lincoln. And I wouldn't stop there. Think about it. Steve Chinese job. Apple wouldn't stop there. Well, we stopped there. 3/11/11. It stopped. The clock stopped. Fuck the clock. No, fuck you. The clock stopped. It's the greatest violation to human rights in human history because there's one thing that trumps all your money counted in a minute by. The hierarchy of needs. Wind is a big part of my art. It's a big piece of us. So I call it my ready-mades. Yeah, the ready-made. The earth. The earth is round. The earth is round. The jet stream flows around this thing. Oh, I have a job. I've mixed nuclear fuel in Idaho, in Texas, in California, in Chicago, in Michigan, at Indian Point, at Homestead, at Paducah, Tennessee, at Oak Ridge, in Utah, everywhere, every state, everywhere. But I'm going to die of leukemia because of it, but that's okay because I have a job. Really? Fukushima point of the Pacific genocide is very real. Now, think about genocide. Does that mean it kills them all and everything? No, of course not. Paul Stegman, who I knew, I sat in his classroom. If you think the Germans invented genocide, you know nothing about the American West. Remember this, they were still killing man, woman, and child of Native Americans in California. The biggest slaughter of Native Americans in the world happened in last of the Mohicans, last of the Californian natives. They extincted them there. You know, they're still Native Americans. They took out 90% of them, just shot them, killed them. The Pacific genocide, it's pockets. It's pockets. It's not a bathtub. Oh, it's going to hit Naples. I mean, we think about all these stories we rely on. RT telling us. We didn't know anything because the black and yellow journalistic whores played ball. The so-called counter to the social engineers played ball. Not me. Not me. I really am a counter-culturist. I really am a counter to the social engineers. That's what these YouTube sites about in real time. Not a book postured and grown. Malcolm Gladwell. He's a great writer. That's one of the most pathetic writers, freaking propped up by Philip Morris from day one. It's all captured. These books are written by computers. Joel Riley, Chris Hedges, all of them. And they feed the same demographic, Hell and Caldecott. It's their cash cow. The computer writes their books. It's not literature. It's not literature. Literature, books are dead. Oh yeah, books have been dead for a long time. That's what my videos are. Books are dead. Is art dead? Nope. Alive and well. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say well. Alive, unwell. It's like Gwen bought $36 million piece of art from what's his name? Not Hearst, the other one. Art is representative. It is legacy. It is the path of a person, a man, a thing. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with wealth. You know, did he really play 36 million? I highly doubt it. I worked on their base. My name used to be on the Stratusville Power Wall. They're paying him $36 million. He's just baiting people into his casino. So people go to Vegas and they live in a trailer in Tennessee. They live in a freaking whatever. They dress up their women. They dress up. Look at us. The masquerade party. It is the masquerade party. And they put on the show like they're all that. Get drunk, disorderly, go and see. Oh, there's a $36 million piece of art. Really? Yeah. Sure there is. But they'll pay, he'll make $50 million off it. It's all captured. We don't fight back. Dan, are we still there?
Yeah, Kevin.
We don't fight back. We don't fight back intelligently. We don't fight back dynamically. As I say, passionate, intelligent arguments are dangerous. Cultural conversations are what are dangerous. Passionate, intelligent arguments get results. Passionate, intelligent arguments, keyword intelligent. Know your subject matter. No. I mean, how can you have an argument when you don't even know the three branches of government? You don't even know fifth grade science. You don't know the lead up to World War I. You don't know the lead up to what protection is Alexander Hamilton. You know, tariffs at the port, the Coast Guard. How can you compete with slaves? And not even for economically. Hell yes. There were little ladies holding paper all over freaking the 13 colonies. How do you think we paid it off? Tariff on the port paid it off just right. We had more debt then per capita than we do now, which is hard to believe, a debt. But usury, we fixed it. Hamilton fixed it. Oh, there was no need. You show me one social program before 1945, before 1776. You want to talk social programs? How about the Coast Guard? How about the Merchant Marines? You cannot pick your redistribution of wealth. It's the redistribution of wealth. We were protectionists in 1776. They were huge social programs. Giant. What do you think militaries are? You want to have free capitalism? You want to have pure free? Go ahead. That's what we got. The people with the strongest army rules. The American Army, which is owned by the House of Windsor. Stay tuned, you guys. See you in San Francisco. We're going to go let Berkeley have it. Fuck them. I'm not just going to lay down and die. I worship life. I worship the earth. I love this place. Start with freaking understanding what the gift of humanity is.
Fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it.